and everyone else. This is what Kendall figured out all by herself.
Tab.
Nice, huh? Okay. All right. Well, you saw like the simple line animation that we did on Kendall's logo. That was pretty easy and simple because her stroke was thin and it was pretty consistent. Now what we're going to do is something a little more difficult with Brett's logo because his is thick and inconsistent. And I'm going to kind of show you. Oh, I don't want to do that. All right, so already making mistakes. There we go. So we're going to import Brett's AI, plain old AI logo. His doesn't have any layers. It's okay if yours does. Just make sure to hit composition down here. Plain old composition. Nothing special. Even if it has multiple layers. And then bring it in. And then what we're going to do is, okay, first for this, we want to make sure that align and effects and presets are checked. They are. And then we brought in our logo. Okay. And then, okay. This is a weird thing. So we're going to bring your logo down here. So it appears here, and you're going to want to right click or control click and check pre-compose. Okay. And under pre-compose, what you're going to want to do is, let's go ahead and rename the logo. Neo Logo 1. Logo 1. Okay, and we want to click on move all attributes into the new composition. So, and then, okay, put that in there. All right. We're not going to do the position. So now we get to go to our pen tool. So you can see what we've got there with his logo. So now we're going to go to our pen tool. And here's where Brett's is different than Kendall's. As you know, Kendall's was like a little thin star line. I'm going to go to the pen tool here. Make sure I don't have a fill. How do I do that? Everybody's wondering. You hit the word fill. And you can select fill, solid gradient, linear gradient, radial gradient. I don't want any of that. I want nothing. So there you go. Nothing. Got a nice bright green stroke so I can see what's going on. I think this is probably going to be about 48 pixels wide. So you're going to want to start drawing your logo. In this case, with a logo like this, you want to draw it as closely as you can, as if you are recreating the Neo logo with your pen tool. So that's of course not going to be completely possible, but we're going to get close. What we're doing is sort of a fill color for Neo, and we're going to try to go just barely outside the edges, and you'll see how we can manipulate that as we go. In this case, you're going to want to use your curves and your Bezier arms and all that jazz. So click and drag right there. Click and drag right here. You can see I got a little yellow showing there, so I'm going to have to fix that in a minute. Click and drag right here. And what I've found is the best way to handle this is to sort of take a turn right there with my stroke and head away from the O, because I don't want it to overlap the O. So I'm going to click and drag here. You can see I'm almost right on the edge there, which is fine. And I'm going to take it away from the O as much as I can. Now, I double check, and that's the only place I've got any yellow shown. So let's see what we can do about that. See if we can come down. Ooh, we can. We can come down a little bit with that one. And that covers it. So, nice clean stroke there. Now, in this case, we are going to As you can see, it made a shape layer there. And we're going to use multiple strokes because this is a more complicated shape, and we want it to appear as though we're drawing this. So let's click away from everything. And let's see if this works okay. Let's see if I can pull this off. And go back to my pen tool, and I'm going to start drawing this E. You got to visualize in your head how you want it to end up drawing in there. So what I could do, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start drawing this E. Don't worry, I'm going to fix everything with keyframes, of course. So that, let's see if it's going in the right place. Yes, shape 1 and shape 2 is in the right place. So let's get this back over there, and then keep going with our green stroke, which is covering nicely, except for right around in here. We'll come back and fix that later. We're going to make this O shape. We're going to come right next to the tail end of that E shape, but we're going to miss it. And then we're going to end right here, which is not fine. There we go. We're going to end right there. Doesn't matter. Look, it looks close, okay? Okay. So before we go any further, let's fix these points here so that maybe we can get a little more. This is the tricky part, to cover these without dipping into the stem there. You guys remember your typography class? So we don't have quite enough curve on the inside one. So we want to keep that covered and get it as close as possible. Maybe we can bump up the thickness of this one a little bit to cover that extraneous stuff. I think that did it without going too far into here. So now let's make a third stroke, which is going to, I'm going to start it back here, and it's basically just going to go to right there. Got everything covered. I don't see any yellow. What am I doing here? I don't see any. Well, I undid it by accident. So let's redo it. All right, let's redo it right there. Oh, I don't want it to appear on that stroke. I don't think. I haven't gotten that sophisticated yet. So let's just do that. And that does the trick. Okay, now. All the yellow's gone. I think we've avoided any overlaps with their stroke. And remember, you want to draw your stroke in the kind of in the fashion that you want it to animate, if that makes any sense. We drew 3 strokes. Here they are down here, shape 1, shape 2, shape 3. And I want you to see what's happening. So I'm going to open these up. I think, well, first let me do this. I'm going to select all 3. Shift, select, and then I'm going to add, where we normally go up here, we add a path or a fill, and this time we're going to add trim paths. So, let's add trim paths, and that will add trim paths to all 3. Now here's the really cool part. If I drop down on path 1, trim path 1, and I go to like this is sort of the end point of path 1, and I go to 0. That affects, since I have all the paths selected, it does the same thing to all the paths. So what I'm going to do, see if I can get this right. I want to think what I'm going to do. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. All right. I'm going to go to 100 at the end path, which I'm going to put, let's put it at 2 seconds. Let's not answer that call right now. Let's put it at 2 seconds. And then we'll call it 100%. So let's add a keyframe. And then let's bring it back to 0 and say it's going to be 0%. So now we have a very simple, going very slow. I'm going to speed that up. All right, let's go ahead and speed that up right now. But you can see it added all 3 keyframes because I have them all selected over here, right? So I've got, let's see, I've got this. See if I can do this. I might need to drop these down. To move. Well, I think I can click and drag. No, I need to drop them down. So shape 2, trim path, and then shape 3, shape 2. Oh, that trim path. There we go. Drop those down, and then we can select them all at once. That way we can do, if I hold shift down or click and drag, that way we can make this animation a little quicker. So let's make it faster so you can see what's going on. Not much faster, is it? All right, so that's what's going to happen there. Now, of course we're going to alter the speed of all these things, but first, what we're going to do is go to track mat here, and this is where we need to first duplicate our logo. Gosh, if we can find it again. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's our logo. So let's copy and paste that. And know now that that is hidden. That is number 3.